So, like I said, now we are going to discuss about transportation. Transport is a system in which passengers and goods are carried from one place to another. So, transport is a system which, through which passengers and goods are carried from one place to another. We very well know about it. Transport system is considered as the lifeline of a country. Earlier, man traveled on foot or used animals for transport. So, in olden days, they used to travel using animals or they used to walk by foot. With the discovery of wheel, transport was made easier and gradually different means of transport were developed. So, first they invented wheels. So, through wheels, different means of transports were developed. There are three major means of transport in the world. The three means of transport: land, water, air. Under land, roadways, railways, and pipelines. Under water transport, inland waterways, ocean routes. Okay, next is domestic airways and international airways. So these are the means of transport all over the world. Now we are going to see the transport network in India. Transport is one of the most components of infrastructure and it is essential for economic development of a country, especially for a large country like India. So it is one of the important infrastructure of every country. India has a good transport network of roads, railways, airways, and waterways, providing necessary connectivity between different parts of the country. So, India has a good transport network, maybe roads, railways, airways, and waterways, everything. And it also provides a necessary connectivity between different parts of the country. Alright, so roadways. First, we are going to see about roadways. Roads play an important role in carrying goods and passengers for short, medium, and long distances. So, through roads, carrying goods and passengers for short, medium, and long distances is being done. It is highly suitable for short distance services. We use roads for mostly for short distance services. It's comparatively easy and cheap to construct and maintain roads. So comparatively, it's not just easy. It's when compared to other means of transport, roadways are comparatively easier and cheap to construct and maintain. Road transport system can establish easy contact between farms, fields, factories, and markets and can provide door to door transport services. Roads are the most universal mode of transport. Universal mode of transport is roads. Indian roads are cost efficient, cost lesser, which means it is used by all sections of people in the society. It's not that if you need anybody can use roads, right? It's cost efficient. Anyone can travel in bus. There is no only this section of people should go, only this section of people should go. There's nothing like that. All sections of people can use it. India has the second longest road network in the world with a total length of 56,000 56 lakh 3,293 kilometer as of 2016. About 85% of passengers and 70% of freight traffic are carried by roads every year. Yeah. So this is an additional information for you guys. Sher Shah Suri built the Shahi Royal Road to strengthen and consolidate his empire from the Indus Valley to the Sonar Valley in Bengal. So this person constructed a road. This road from Kolkata to Peshawar was renamed as Grand Trunk Road during the British period. At present, It extends from Amritsar to Kolkata. It is bifurcated into two segments. National Highway 1 NH1 from Delhi to Amritsar and National Highway 2 NH2 from Delhi to Kolkata. Yeah. Now let's come back to our lesson. For the purpose of construction and maintenance, roads are classified into national highways NH, state highways SH, district roads, rural roads, which is otherwise called village roads, border roads, and international highways. So, first, classification of roads in India, and first one is national highways. Let's discuss about national highways, shortly termed as NH. National highways form the most important system of road transportation in India. These highways are running through length and breadth of country, connecting capitals of states, major ports, rail junctions, industrial and tourist centers. So I'll tell you what highways are. They are measured using the length and breadth of the country. Connecting capitals, it connects capitals of states, then major ports, rail junctions, industrial and tourist centers. Ministry of Road Transport and Highways of India, you can see this map would show you the roads of India, Indian roads, how the roads are being yeah. Let me zoom from north to south. You can view it. The roads are being colored. I think you can see it clearly. You can view it carefully. The yellow roads are Golden Quadrilateral Highway, green ones are East-West Corridor Highway, pink ones are North-South Corridor Highway that connects North and South. Then, the ones written in numbers, right, between two lines, that is called National Highway, and the red lines are called Important Road. Yeah, let's see. Okay. The important national highways in India and label it on the outline map of India. Okay. It's an activity. You can see this, the national highway, picture of a national highway. Yeah. So where did we leave? Highways of India is responsible for road transport and the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways of India is responsible for the development and maintenance of national highways in India. Okay, the total length of the national highways, the NHs in India is 1,01,011 kilometer, which accounts for 1.8% of the total road network length in 2016. The longest national highway is NH7, which runs from Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh to Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, covering a distance of 2,369 km. And the shortest national highway is NH47A, which runs from Ernakulam to Kochi Port or Wellington Island, covering a distance of 6 km. Yeah. Next comes state highways. The state highways are usually roads that link important cities, towns, and district headquarters within the state and connect them with national highways or highways of neighboring states. So, the state highways link important cities or towns or district headquarters within the states to a national highway of the same state or the neighboring state. Okay, these roads are administered and financed by state governments. State highway runs to the length of 1,76,166 kilometer as of 2016. Next comes district roads. District roads provide connectivity between the district and taluk headquarters with the state highways and national highways. Okay, they provide connectivity between the district and taluk headquarters within the state with the state highways and national highways. District roads are constructed and maintained by the Public Works Department (PWD) of the states. The total length of the road of this category is 5,61,940 km, 16.81% in 2016. Next, rural roads, village roads. Okay, see the picture. Rural roads connectivity is a key component of rural development. These roads are vital for providing links in the rural areas. It links the different villages with their neighboring towns, links villages with towns. They are maintained by village panchayats. The total length of rural roads in India is 39,35,337 km as of 2016. Rural roads consist of panchayat roads by Zilla Parishad, Panchayat Samiti, Gram Panchayat, roads of the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, and those constructed by state PWDs. I told you no PWD, Public Work Development. One second. PWD, Public Works Department. So here's a task for you. You are asked to find out the functions of NHAI. Okay. Next. An additional information for you guys. Do you know National Highways Authority of India? Just now I told you, NHAI was established in 1995. It is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Surface Transport. Next comes border roads. These are the roads of strategic importance in border areas. They are constructed and maintained by Border Roads Organization. It was established in 1960 for the development of the roads of strategic importance in the northern and northeastern border areas. So it was started in 1960 by Border Roads Organization. Yeah, Border Roads Organization has constructed world's highest road joining Chandigarh and Leh in Ladakh. This road runs at an average altitude of 4,270 meters. Next, Golden Quadrilateral, 5,846 km long road of 4/6 lanes connecting India's 4 metropolitan cities, which are Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi. This project was launched in 1999. This is called Golden Quadrilateral. North, South and East-West corridors. North-South corridors aims at connecting Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir with Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, including Kochi Salemspur, with 4,076 km long road. The East-West corridor has been planned to connect Silchar in Assam with the port town of Porbandar in Gujarat with 3,640 km of road length. The two corridors intersected Jhansi. Expressways. These are multi-lane, good quality highways for high-speed traffic. Some of the important expressways are Mumbai-Pune Road, Kolkata-Dumdum Airport Road, Durgapur-Kolkata Road and Yamuna Expressway between Delhi and Agra. Look at this picture. Okay, this is a picture of Mumbai-Pune Road. Next comes international highways. These are the roads that link India with neighboring countries for promoting harmonious relationship with them. So India linking with neighboring countries. These highways have been constructed with an aid from World Bank under an agreement with the Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific (ESCAP). These roads connect important highways of India with those of the neighboring countries such as Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. In India, densest road network is found in the northern plains where it's relatively easy to construct roads. So there the densest road network is found in northern plains and there it's easy to construct roads. In mountainous areas, it's quite difficult to construct roads. Road density is the highest in Kerala and lowest in Jammu and Kashmir. Next comes railways. Indian railway system is the main artery of the country's I'm sorry, give me just 1 minute. Yeah. Railways. Indian railway system is the main artery of the country's inland transport. Railways cater to the needs of large scale movement of traffic both for freight and passenger, thereby contributing economic growth. So, large scale movement of traffic. See, in a bus, a maximum of 50 members can travel, but in train, many number of people can travel, and it can also be used for longer distance travel. This is why it's called large scale movement. Yeah, and it also contributes to economic growth. Economically, trains always cost lesser. Railways are considered as the backbone of the surface transport system of India. It promotes national integration by bringing by bringing people together. It also promotes trade, tourism, education, etc. Railways help in the commercialization of the agriculture sector by facilitating the quick movement of perishable goods. So, not only people move from one place to another, even goods are being, moved from one place to another quickly. Its role in transporting raw materials to industries and finished goods to market is invaluable. So it even transports raw materials to industries and goods to markets. Indian Railways network is the largest in Asia and second largest in the world. So all over the world, India is the second largest in the world, and in Asia it is the first largest. The length of the Indian Railways network as of 2017 is 67,368 km, with 7,349 railway stations. So here we have a additional fact about the first train. The first train steamed off from Mumbai to Thane in 1853, covering a distance of 34 km. In 1951, the systems were nationalized as one unit, the Indian Railways. The headquarter of Indian Railways is New Delhi. New Delhi is the headquarter of Indian Railways. Okay. For operations and management, the Indian Railways is organized into 16 zones. Northern Railway Delhi, North Western Railway Jaipur, North Central Railway Allahabad, North Eastern Railway Gorakhpur, North East Frontier Railway Guwahati, Eastern Railway Kolkata, East Coast Railway Bhubaneswar, East Central Railway Hazipur, West Central Railway Jabalpur, Central Railway Mumbai, Western Railway Mumbai, then Southern Railway Chennai, South Central Railway Secunderabad, South Eastern Railway Kolkata, South Western Railway Hubbal, and South East Central Railway Bilaspur. So these are the 16 railways. The Northern Railway accounts for the longest route length, followed by the Western Railway. The longest route length is, the first one is Northern and next is Western. Next, on the basis of width of the track, the Indian Railways fall under 4 categories based on the width of the track width. Indian Railways fall under 4 categories. Broad gauge with a width of 1.676 meter, meter gauge with a width of 1 meter, and narrow gauge with a width of 0.762 meter. And finally, light gauge with 0.610 meter. 4 gauges: broad gauge, meter gauge, narrow gauge, and light gauge. In recent times, many developments have taken place in the Indian Railways. The arrival of Konkan Railway Corporation (KRC), Mass Rapid Transit System (MRTS), metro and suburban railways provide easy and efficient means of transport. These developments provide easy transport. These are So this is a picture of the Indian Railways. Earlier we saw roadways, right? Similarly, this is railways. The 16 headquarters we read, no? All this is being named here. You can view the video in slow motion. So the railway system is very helpful in avoiding traffic congestion and overcrowding in urban areas. So if you travel by train, you will not have traffic at all. So you can move quickly from one place to another. This also prevents overcrowding in urban areas. The first suburban railway was started in 1925 in Mumbai. Chennai becomes the 6th Indian city with metro railway. Metro rail, 6th city. Gatiman Express is the fastest operation train in India. This train connects New Delhi and Agra and touches 160 km per hour. This train takes a travel time of 105 minutes to cover 200 km journey. So this is the fastest train in India, Gatiman Express. It covers 200 km journey in 105 minutes. Next, Konkan Railway. One of the important achievement of Indian Railways has been the construction of Konkan Railway in 1998. It connects Roha in Maharashtra to Mangaluru in Karnataka, and the track measures 760 km. It is considered as an engineering marvel. On its routes, the railway crosses 146 rivers and streams, nearly 2000 bridges, and 73 tunnels. This is an amazing train, the amazing railway, Konkan Railway, which crosses 146 rivers and streams, 2000 bridges, and 73 tunnels. Asia's longest tunnel, nearly 6.44 km long, is in this route. The states of Maharashtra, Goa, and Karnataka are partners in this undertaking. This is Konkan Railway picture. The rail link between Banihal in Jammu region and Kazigun in Kashmir Valley was opened in 2013. This rail line passes under Pir Panjal range through a 11.2 km long tunnel. Metro railways in India. See this picture. There are 8 cities with metro rail connectivity in India. They are Kolkata in West Bengal, Chennai in Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Bengaluru of Karnataka, Gurgaon, Haryana, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Jaipur, Rajasthan, and Kochi from Kerala. So there are 8 cities, okay, 8 cities with metro rail connectivity. They are Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi, Bengaluru, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Jaipur, and Kochi. The metro in Kolkata is the first one in India. Metro in Kolkata is the first one in India. It's also called as Mass Rapid Transit System. It's also called Mass Rapid Transit System, MRTS. As of September 2018, India has 507 kilometers of operational metro lines and 381 stations. Okay, as of September 2018, India has 507 kilometers of operational metro lines and 381 stations. And one important thing to remember, the state of Meghalaya has no railway network at all. So there is no railway network in Meghalaya. Okay, and next we are going to discuss about pipeline transport. Pipelines provided a very convenient mode of transport to connect oil and natural gas fields, refineries, and to the markets. In the past, these were used to transport water to cities and industries. So pipelines usually, it is used to supply water to cities and industries. Now, solids can also be transported through a pipeline when converted into slurry. By converting a solid to slurry, even that can be transported through a pipeline. Even solid can be transported. The initial cost of laying pipeline is high. So constructing a pipeline is really high, the cost is high, but subsequent running cost is minimum. Running cost is comparatively minimum. It can be laid through difficult terrain as well as underwater. Even underwater pipelines can be constructed. It ensures steady supply of goods and reduces the transshipment losses and delays are the major advantages of pipeline transport. So the transshipment losses and delays will not be there in pipeline transport. Oil field in Upper Assam of Kanpur, from Salaya in Gujarat to Jalandhar in Punjab, and gas pipeline from Hazira in Gujarat to Jagdishpur in Uttar Pradesh are the three important the important large networks of pipeline in the country. So in the next video we shall discuss about waterways. Yeah, thank you.